Let's take a look at how to create line plots. Lauren sells tickets at an amusement park and records the number that each person buys. Use the data in the table to complete the line plot. Okay, well, in our table, we can see we have the tickets purchased and the number of people that purchased each number of tickets. Okay, well, it does help us if we figure out which column goes where. Remember, on the left column of your table, that's your X column. On the Y column of your table, that's always going to be on the right. So this means on the X-axis, we would have all the things that are in this X column. So these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, represent the tickets purchased. Okay, and then the Y-axis is always the vertical axis that goes up and down. And on this axis, we would have the number of people. Okay, so notice for 0 tickets, we had 0 people. So that means in my column that says 0, I'm going to leave that blank. Next, for 1 ticket, there were 3 people that purchased 1 ticket. Okay, so I'm going to go in my, where it says 1 person, and I'm going to make sure that I include 1, 2, 3 X's because those represent 3 people. 2 tickets were purchased by 2 people. Okay, so if I go to where it says 2 on my X-axis for the tickets purchased, I'm going to make sure to include 2 X's for 2 people. 3 tickets were purchased by 10 people. Okay, so let's go to 3 on our X-axis and make sure that we include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 X's to represent those 10 people. And 4 tickets were purchased by 0 people. Okay, well, for 0, I'm going to leave that one blank as well. Sophia is recording how many solar panels are on each house in her neighborhood. Use the data in the table to complete the line plot. Okay, well, solar panels are in the X column of our table. So these numbers on the bottom, or the X-axis, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, would represent the number of solar panels. And when I go to make my plot, I'm going to draw an X for each number of houses. Okay, so 0 solar panels were sold to 0 houses. Okay, so in my 0 on the X-axis, I'm going to leave that blank to represent 0. 1 solar panel was sold to 1 house. Okay, so if I go to 1 on the X-axis, I'm going to include 1X to represent that 1 house. 2 solar panels were sold to 7 houses. So if I go to 2 on my X-axis, I'm going to make sure to include 7 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 solar panels were sold to 5 houses. Okay, so if I go to 3 on my X-axis, I'm going to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's to represent those 5 houses. And 4 solar panels were sold to 5 houses. So if I go to 4 on the X-axis, I'm going to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 X's. Michael is studying bees. He records how many flowers each bee visits before returning to the hive. Use the data below to complete the line plot. Okay, and we can see just like last time when I scroll over one of these numbers, it gives me X's. So I'm going to use an X to represent each number of bee. So flowers visited, right, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 number of flowers is on the X-axis. Okay, well, 0 flowers were visited by 4 bees. So if I go to 0 for X, I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 X's to represent those 4 bees. 1 flower was visited by 6 bees. Okay, so I'm going to go to 1 on my X-axis and include 6 X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to represent my 6 bees. 2 flowers were visited by 1 bee. So if I go to 2 on my x-axis, I'm only going to draw 1 x. 3 flowers were visited by 5 bees. So if I go to 3, I'm going to include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's. And 4 flowers were visited by 1 bee. So I'm going to go to 4 and just draw 1 x. Ava is studying bees. She records how many flowers each bee visited before returning to the hive. Use the data below to create the line plot. Okay, well, 0 flowers were visited by 6 bees. So I'm going to go to 0 and make sure that I draw 6 x's. 1 flower was visited by 1 bee, so 1 x on my 1. 2 flowers were visited by 4 bees. Okay, so I'm going to draw 4 x's where it says 2. 3 flowers were visited by 6 bees. Okay, so if I go to 3, I'm going to include 6 x's. And 4 flowers were visited by 6 bees. So I'm going to go to 4 on my x-axis and include 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. Coach Gabriel records the long jump distances for each student. Use the data below to complete the line plot. Okay, and notice in our x column, we have the feet. So these numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 are on the x-axis. That would represent the feet. So number of students in the y-axis is going to be represented here by how many x's we draw up. Okay, well, 0 feet was recorded by 0 students. Okay, so I'm going to leave that blank where it says 0. 1 foot was recorded by 1 student. Okay, so I'm going to go to 1 foot and draw 1 x for that 1 student. 2 feet was recorded by 6 students. Okay, so I'm going to go to 2 feet and draw 6 x's to represent my 6 students. 3 feet was recorded by nobody or 0 students. I'm going to leave that blank. And 4 feet was recorded by 6 students. So I'm going to go to 4 and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's for my 6 students.